Well, good morning. It's April the 29th, Wednesday morning. I'm Pastor Roddy Chesser with Open Door Family Fellowship, and this is Pandemic Preaching. My Bible reading for this morning had me in Psalm 106, and it's a longer psalm. It's a really kind of a summary psalm of some of the things that happened in the life of the nation of Israel. And verse 23 tells us about the time, Exodus 32 talks about this, when Moses went up on the mountain, on Mount Sinai, to receive the law from God. And while he was gone, the Israelites built a golden calf, and they started worshiping this idol and all of that was going on. And while he was up there, God tells him, he says, Moses, he says, the people have done this. He says, now leave me alone and I'm going to destroy them. I'll start with you and we'll build another group of people. And this psalm brings that up, and it says this. It says, therefore he said that he would destroy them. That's talking about God, talking about destroying the Israelites. Had not Moses, his chosen, stood before him in the breach to turn away his wrath, lest he should destroy them. When I was a kid, we used to lease a lot of country, turn out cattle in. And a lot of those places didn't have very good fences. A lot of those places didn't have very good working pens. And so we always had to haul panels. And I remember this one place that my dad had leased, and we had to literally, we put panels, we piled tumbleweeds, we pulled pickups up into holes and gaps. Some of you guys probably know exactly what I'm talking about doing this kind of stuff. Well, what you got to do is you got to plug all those holes. Well, that's what the word breach means. It's an open spot in the hedgerow or in the fence that's going to allow something to spill out and get out of there. And that's what the image or the picture is used of what Moses did. Moses stood in the breach to keep the wrath of God from spilling out upon the people. Now, Moses was the intercessor. He interceded for the people. You and I live in a different covenant than Moses did. A better covenant, much better. A new covenant that Jesus has made with us, that's brought to us. And so in Hebrews chapter 7, verse 25, it's speaking of Jesus, and it says, wherefore he is able also to save them to the uttermost that come unto God by him, seeing he ever liveth to make intercession for them. Jesus constantly and continually stands in the gap for us. It is his blood that makes propitiation for our sins, and he constantly does that for us. But you and I are called to a ministry of intercession as well. James chapter 5 verse 16 says, the effective fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. And in 1 John chapter 5 we're told this. It says, if any man see his brother sin a sin which is not unto death, he shall ask, and he shall give him life for them that sin not unto death. There is a sin unto death. I do not say he should pray for it. What's that verse mean? Well, that verse means that instead of gossiping about someone, instead of getting bitter and angry towards someone, instead of completely writing someone off, when you see someone, and it says here, a brother, somebody who calls themselves a believer in Jesus, when you see them do a sin, when you know of this, and instead of being a nitpicker or whatever, that what we ought to do is we ought to ask God on their behalf. We need to learn the lesson from Moses and stand in the breach and intercede for them. Now, there is a sin unto death. That means that there's a point in time where when God can say, okay, that's it. I'm going to bring you home because I'm not going to let you. You know, it's just like kids playing out in the yard, and you say, look, if you can't get along with everybody, you got to come sit on the porch with me. Well, that's kind of what that means, I believe. But listen to me. I just want to encourage you this morning. Let's be prayer warriors. Let's intercede. Let's not be gossiping and griping and complaining and going to Facebook with all of our stuff. Let's go to our prayer closet and let's get on our knees and intercede because Jesus is interceding for us. God bless you. I love you. I hope you have a great day.